Martell Holt. Not the cheating, not the divorce, not even the public embarrassment. This is about what came later, when his own children started quietly revealing the truth. The polished image of a devoted father began to fracture. For years, Martell sold everyone a carefully managed story. He painted himself as the dad fighting against an unfair system, the man who only wanted to protect his children. But behind that charm was a pattern of control. When the court required therapy, evaluations, and structure, he ignored it for more than 2 years. That wasn't a slip, it was a choice. A choice to defy the judge even though compliance could have helped him regain trust. Pride, not forgetfulness. And people began to notice. Fans and insiders compared how Martell openly showcased his child with Arionne while suddenly claiming privacy with the children he shares with Melody Shari. The double standard was obvious. It wasn't about keeping them safe, it was about power and image. Meanwhile, Melody quietly followed every court order, proving she was the steady parent, while Martell threw shade, cryptic posts, interviews laced with hidden digs. One day he quoted Bible verses, the next he spread blame. But kids grow up. They see who shows up when cameras are off. They know who picks them up from school and who tucks them in. Over time, the loyalty Martell assumed he had began to slip. Subtle comments from the children, never public interviews, just whispers to those close, hinted at hurt and confusion. Then came the legal blow, a domestic violence conviction. Not gossip, but a guilty plea. He tried to appeal, hoping to rewrite the ending. But in August 2025, that move backfired with a second guilty plea. Whatever image he'd built crumbled. A custody trial is now set for October. But this is bigger than custody. It's the story of a man who thought appearance could replace responsibility. Judges look at patterns, and Martell's record is clear. Ignored orders, harassment convictions, endless appeals. His actions show someone clinging to control, using legal motions to keep Melody tied to him. The financial cost is staggering. Fines, legal fees, child support, while his business ventures slow to a crawl. Once a self-proclaimed real estate mogul and TV star, his empire looks like a sandcastle washed away by wave after wave of legal trouble. Melody's path is the opposite. She's building a brand, releasing music, raising 4 kids, and choosing stability over chaos. Viewers see her as the one who found peace. Even castmates who once stayed neutral, Maurice, Kimmy, Wanda, even Marcel, now show open frustration with Martell's endless drama. His circle is shrinking. And here's the deeper question everyone's asking. Is Martell's behavior about more than pride? His constant need to lash out, to be the victim, suggests a fear of losing relevance, of being alone. Fans catch it in his live streams, his cryptic captions, his attempts to provoke Melody or others into another round of fighting. It doesn't read as strength. It reads as desperation. The October 15th custody hearing is his final chance to prove he can be trusted as a parent. But judges don't fall for charm. They weigh consistency. Melody's spotless record and his repeated defiance tell their own story. If he loses, he could face supervised visits, mandatory parenting classes, or counseling just to see his kids. A public humiliation he can't spin. He still posts like everything's fine. Gym selfies, vague motivational quotes, half-hearted peace offerings. But behind the screen is a man unraveling. Business partners, castmates, even fans who once defended him are pulling away. This could have ended differently. Compliance, real growth, a genuine apology, those might have opened the door to shared custody. But Martell chose control over healing. The children bear the deepest scars. They've lived through years of conflict, caught between parents, while his father turned them into pawns. That emotional toll won't fade quickly, even if the court sides with Melody. And that's the real tragedy. Whatever the judge decides, Martell still has to face himself. No audience, no social media applause can outdrown the truth that his own pride cost him his family. The verdict on October 15th is only the legal ending. The personal reckoning began long ago, and unless he changes from the inside, the outcome was decided by Martell Holt himself. But even after the October 15th decision, the story won't just stop. Court papers can only settle custody. They can't repair the quiet damage that years of chaos leave behind. For Melody and the children, the real work begins once the cameras move on and the headlines fade. Melody understands this. Friends say she's already lining up therapy and consistent routines for the kids. Simple things like stable school schedules, family dinners, and weekends that aren't interrupted by surprise court dates. It's the kind of quiet rebuilding that doesn't get flashy social media likes, but it's exactly what children remember when they look back on hard seasons. Martell's next chapter is far less certain. He still has fans who hope he'll finally face himself and do the real healing work. Therapy that isn't ordered by a judge. Apologies that don't come with conditions. The kind of change that shows up in action, not just captions. But that path is steep. Pride is heavy, and Martell has carried it for years. His public image may never return to what it once was. TV producers who once leaned on his charisma now see him as a risk. Business opportunities shrink when your name brings court headlines instead of success stories. Even old friends on the show have learned to keep their distance because being near Martell now means inheriting his drama. And the children, they will grow up into young adults with their own voices. One day, they'll decide how much contact they want with their father. That choice will belong entirely to them, not to a judge or a television contract. When that day comes, Martell won't be able to charm or argue his way back in. Only years of consistent effort, if he chooses it, can rebuild trust. This is the part that no court order can rewrite. Money can be earned again. Reputations can shift. But the quiet space between a parent and a child, once it's cracked, takes a lifetime to repair. Melody seems to understand that. Whether Martell ever does is the question that remains. So as the legal dust settles, one truth stands out. The greatest consequence isn't a custody ruling or a fine. It's the slow, painful realization that love and respect can't be forced, and no amount of control can replace the simple, steady presence a parent owes their children. And even as the weeks roll on after that October 15th hearing, the ripple effects keep spreading. The judge's ruling may have closed the legal file for now, but the emotional fallout is only beginning to surface. People close to the family say the kids have moments of relief, less tension in the house, fewer sudden schedule changes, but also flashes of grief for the dad they wish they had. Melody stays focused on consistency. She's not celebrating a win, because for her, there's nothing to celebrate when it comes to broken family ties. Instead, she's setting up counseling sessions, carving out quiet family nights, and surrounding the children with relatives who show up without drama. Her friends describe evenings filled with board games and homemade dinners, the kind of normal that used to be interrupted by late-night phone calls or last-minute visitation battles. Martell, meanwhile, drifts between defiance and silence. On social media, he alternates between cheerful gym clips and vague quotes about staying strong through trials. Fans notice the pattern. A man trying to convince the world, and maybe himself, that he's unfazed. But off-camera, insiders whisper about canceled business meetings, tense conversations with former partners, and a growing sense that the phone isn't ringing the way it once did. Opportunities that once came easy now require explanations he can't give. His relationships on the show have cooled too. Castmates who once played peacemakers have learned to keep their distance. Publicly, they offer polite words. Privately, they protect their own brands. The reality TV spotlight that once amplified his charm now highlights every misstep, and producers know audiences have shifted their sympathy. Yet the most profound shift is the one no cameras can capture. The children slowly understanding the difference between presence and performance. They've watched who actually shows up to school events, who keeps promises, who listens without turning everything into a headline. Those memories will outlast any custody document. For Martell, the path back isn't about court filings or slick interviews. It's the quiet, unglamorous work of earning trust. Phone calls that aren't performative, therapy sessions no one hears about, apologies without a but. Whether he chooses that road is entirely his decision. Pride has always been his heaviest baggage, and putting it down would be the hardest move of all. As the seasons of Love and Marriage Huntsville keep turning, viewers will move on to the next storyline. But inside that family, the real drama isn't ratings or reunions. It's the slow rebuilds of a childhood that deserved